Hello, I'm Tony Gutierrez of Nebulb, and in the last video, I showed you how it was possible to go through this image with you can see anything in this image to this image using capturing in this case 792 pictures and processing all that pictures in Nebulb. And today I'm going to show you what more can you get from this session. With this 792 pictures, you can get more than only one picture. You can get also, by the same time, an Startrails picture, because Nebulb has two kinds of processing, aligned stars and Startrails. And before you can see, I recommend you that if you haven't seen the previous video, you can see that, because when we imported the images, we selected the full processing preset, and for this reason, Nebulb has performed two kinds of stacking. Aligning stars to get this picture that you see here, and Startrails as well. In this video, I'm going to show you the result of the Startrails image. First, here you can select the image, all the images that you get after the full processing stacking. You can see here the original one, and you can see here the aligning stars result. And also you have a section with the Startrails results. First of all, I'm going to show you the maximum image. Why? Because the maximum image is the classic Startrails algorithm. Nebulb, for getting this image, you can see here, has stacked the 792 image, has stacked the lights of all the images, and you have the Startrails here, and even you have the Startrails, the plane trails, the satellite trains, I don't know if this is no, it's not a meteor because it's a split. This is a satellite. The satellite trails, you get all the trails, all the things that flies over the sky are recorded in a maximum image. This is a classical one. If you remember, when I performing the stacking, when I was selecting the stacking options, I unselected the special effect. For this reason, you can see the classical Startrails. Here you can see the beginning of the trails and the end of the Startrails here. And you can see a gap here as well, because during that time, in some moment, maybe I stop recording, I review some pictures to get sure that everything was working okay, and resume the capture. For this reason, I have a gap here. You can see the gap in every traces, in every Startrails. And that's the normal result. This is the result that you get with a classical Startrails algorithm stacking, the classical one. And then, you have to perform a lot of job, a lot of time to remove this huge amount of plane trails that are horrible in that picture. But before stacking, when you select full processing and Startrails are enabled, there is an option in Nebulb that says remove flying objects. What are flying objects? Flying objects are everything that flies over the sky and doesn't move like the stars. For example, planes, satellites, meteors as well, of course. Everything that doesn't move like stars are flying objects. And we have selected the automatic removal of flying object. As well, we have selected smooth and field trails. Why? Because I don't like gaps in Startrails. I don't like planes. I don't like gaps. I like smooth and only Startrails, without gap, without planes, without anything that won't be stars. And only selecting this is possible to get this image without doing anything more. What I only don't have to do is to select a Startrail and the magic and the magic is done. Is only that. You don't have to do anything more. The difference is between this and this. That's all. You don't have to do anything more. Nebulb, if you see here, for example, you can see here the gaps here, maybe where I have the mouse pointer or here, maybe you can see here gaps, here gap, fixing this gap of this, and you can see any gap. You can see any plane, any gap, anything you can see. It's absolutely perfect. That's all. That's all. It's absolutely perfect. The only that I have here is because there was a cloud here. Maybe this is a slow. This was a cloud, a very thin cloud that it was moving slowly. And the only thing that you see here is the effect of this cloud, but only that one. The smooth effect of this cloud that it was here. That it wasn't a plane, it was a cloud. That it was very it was thin and it was moving slowly because the wind speed it wasn't wind. And you too, I have a lot of pictures with this cloud, but that's only the only effect that are not stars. Maybe this, but this, the rest is incredible. It's amazing. You can see, and I haven't done anything. The only that I've done is to check to maintain the by default option of removal flying object and smooth and flying trails and field trails. And that's all. Now I have to. You can apply as well in light pollution. You can apply a light pollution reduction with Startrails images as well. It's possible. You can slow the whites and highlights to recover the natural color or to increase the colors, the stars colors. For me, this is a personal taste. I like the warm light pollution, Startrails. Then for me, I prefer warm colors in a Startrails. I'm going to increase the ground. This is the adjustments for the ground, the exposure of the ground area. The shadows as well. Okay. This is a horrible transition, but I'm going to increase the auto beta this now, because here in the blending area you can increase yes, it's the natural one, yeah, this is better. And to reduce the effect of this cloud, in this case I have a cloud that moves slowly, and due to the light pollution of the lights of the city, the cloud was brighter than the sky, and you, for this reason, appears here, no, here. And maybe to reduce the effect of this, I can reduce light pollution, maybe, I don't know, but well, this is a natural effect in this case. It was a cloud. And maybe I'm going to warm a little bit more the image to increase a little bit more. This is a personal taste. I like colorful Startrails, maybe I increased. Yeah, here. And that's all. This is my perfect. If you compare for this, if you compare the difference between this and this, you can get the differences. Incredible difference. It is a natural way. One tip, very, very important tip. If you see the original or the maximum image, the classical, you can see as well the clouds effect here. And if you see here the maximum one, for the blending, you can use Startrails image processed by Nebulb without planes, without satellites, without anything, without gaps, without gaps for the sky, but you can use two options for the ground, the Sigma clipping option and the maximum option. What happens if, in this case, you select maximum for the ground? What you are going to see, in this case, is you can get some trails here in the horizon area, near the horizon, because these planes are in the original maximum image. For this reason, when you get planes near the horizon or trails that you don't want to get artificial trails of satellites, planes, something like that, in near or above the horizon, you can prove selecting Sigma clipping because you can get a natural blending. Maybe in this case, you can remove or reduce, sorry, the opacity of the sky transition to increase the the natural effect of blending. And you can see here that is a perfectly unnatural, a very natural transition between sky and ground. And that's all. Well, you can get, as well as in the previous video, you can perform an star reduction. In a Startrail case, it hasn't got mean to perform an star reduction, but you can apply a glowing for the stars. And in Startrails, I like this effect because it's a very artistic effect. It's like the natural glowing effect that the meteors, where it falls in the atmosphere, was more or less the same for the Startrails. Then you can get a more you can see that there is a halo in the brightest stars here due to the glowing effect. This is more artistic tool, but you can perform as well. If you get 100%, maybe it's too much. It maintains the color of the star trails, it maintains the intensity, the brightness, but applies a halo or a glowing in the stars. For me, more or less 50, something like that is nice. And that's all. This is what this is the way you can easily perform a Startrails processing image. You can get an image without any plane, without any satellite, without meteors, without strange trails that are not stars, and you can get the difference. You can see the difference between this picture to this one in only a few minutes. It's too easy. You can get, maybe for when you see the first time, you think or you thought, an hour and a half capturing pictures, 792 pictures is a lot of time, it's a lot of pictures. I don't know, because to get an Startrails, you have to be capturing a lot of time, and after that, in a few minutes, you can get an image like that and an image like that, two images without doing any boring tasks with performing a lot of hours removing planes or performing very difficult and hard processing is very easily. You only have to play with the sliders in Nebulb, because all the sliders, all the adjustments that you can apply to Nebulb are non-destructive adjustments. For this reason, you can play and you can increase and reduce whatever you want. It's a non-destructive, all are non-destructive adjustments. And when you finish, you save the project and you have all the information in the Nebulb project. It's more or less like a PSD in Photoshop, and you have all the information. After that, you can export as well. Here you have. Here I'm going to change my position. Here you have in the bottom left panel, you have the exporting options. Here as well in this button, you have as well the exporting option. You have different formats for exporting the image, different qualities with the color spaces, and metadata as well is exported in the picture, resolution, resampling as well. You can get the image in the format you want. If you want to continue processing that picture in another software like Photoshop, you can do absolutely well, because you can export with 16 bits of quality in TIFF with or without compression, with a color space that remains a lot of color information like Adobe RGB or Profoto. And that's all. You can get all the process in Nebulb. You can finish the picture here. You can continue processing the result in another software. What you want, what you like. I only use Nebulb for all the pictures that you can see in the website of Nebulb, in everywhere that I publish in the social media like Instagram, like YouTube. All the images are only processed for me in Nebulb, but if you want, you can continue processing with another software. This is Nebulb. This is what I want to show you, how easily it is to get one perfect Startrail image without doing any boring and any hard job. And from one session, you can get two kind of pictures, Milky Way picture from one side and Startrails from the other. It's possible. It's easy. This is Nebulb. See you in this video.